So this is an Oliver 66 standard. This is a Super 66 roll crop. I'm just using the Super as an example because I don't have the regular one here. It's in my garage. I want to show you the differences between the two and why anyone would pick a standard versus a roll crop. As you can see, the row crop is much taller. It's almost like a high crop. So you'd be able to drive over corn and stuff underneath it. Where that one you wouldn't be able to do a whole lot of taller crops. The Oliver Standard was designed primarily for drawbar and belt work, as it did not have adjustable width axles like the row crop ones did. So if you look at this, you can, loosen this up and you can move these out, make your tie rods bigger or whatever width you want, and you can, like say you want to cultivate. And in the back, you can move them all the way out to here. It's keyed, so you got adjustable axles front and rear, where the Standard does not. It's non-adjustable. You get what you get. If you look at the back, it's just got a nut on the end. That's how they are, and that's it. The Standards sit low to the ground, therefore you wouldn't want them for row crop work like cultivating corn. This is why Standards do not have the frame holes for mounting cultivators and things. So here you have the frame holes. This is on the row crops only, and that you can put the pipes in for cultivators, planters, whatever they made for them. They had they even had a plow that would go off the power lift, and it would use, I think, just the back bar. But they had all kinds of stuff that you could put on them. But cultivators is probably most popular for corn, and you didn't have to really look back at all. You can just look forward and go. Standards did not have those holes. As I said before, you wouldn't want to use that on corn because it's too low. You'd knock them over or bend them over too hard. The orchard models were similar in design to the Standards, with extra cowling to protect the operator from tree branches, and so branches didn't get hooked on things. I'll put a picture up because I don't have an orchard at all. But you have the headlight down there, the muffler would be tucked in, it would go around, and then you have cowling over the back, and then the steering wheel would be down more, and you'd sit lower so you could duck behind the cowling. But it was very similar as a Standard as far as design. The Oliver Hart Parts started out as Standards. It was the only option there was until the 1827 row crops. After that, most were built as both Standards and row crops. Later on, the Standard was called the Wheatland tractor. I'm sure you've heard of those. It's basically the same thing, they just called it something else. The Super 66 was only available as a row crop tractor. So why would a farmer buy a Standard over a row crop when a row crop can do more things? Well, similar to why someone would buy an SUV or over a pickup, or a car over an SUV, personal preference. What fits your needs? The Standard tractors had a lower center of gravity, so if you had a hilly farm, they were much more stable. They're easier to get on and off. They're more stable when turning, and especially when in road gear for turning. You'd think the Standards would have been cheaper, but this is not the case. I'll put on the screen the Standard versus the row crop prices in one of the models. See, you can compare them then. It was a little more for a Standard model, which is probably why the row crops were better sellers, making the Standard models more rare and to this day much harder to find. So as you can see, the fixed axle, a lot of the sheet metal is going to be similar. I think the hoods are, I have to look at the parts book for some of that stuff. Grills and, this would be the same. The grills, the cowling here, the flip cover. Huh, that is interesting. I didn't even know it till this. It says Goodison right there. And that is neat. But it must be just a panel. Because I don't have the plate. For more about Goodison, check out, I did a video on Goodison. As you can see, the back is much lower. They're generally pretty narrow here too. It's a little harder to get on them. But other than that, they had all the same features as far as, like, you know, the live power takeoff. The seats were the same. Lights, stuff like that. Yeah, this is a Goodison. Well, let's see if this side says it. This side does have it too. That's interesting. I want to say, I think the back panels were smaller on the standard and the front was the same. I know on a 66 and 77 the front panels are the same. The louvered part, the big part, and the back ones are different between those two, 66 and 77. The standard 66. That really has me intrigued that both sides have the Goodison panels. Because yes, they could be panels that were taken off of something, but the rust matches the rest of the hood and the rest of the tractor. So what I would be curious to do is to get the build card on this one and see if it was shipped anywhere near Canada. So I added a third one to the mix. 66 Industrial. Let's look at the differences between them. Panels are going to be the same. So the Industrial was very similar to the standards. The front axle was strengthened to help with loaders and the added weight that comes from them, or anything else that you put on there. Some might have like a dozer blade or who knows what. The rear axle carrier was also strengthened to support additional stresses such as backhoes and stuff. And then faster road speeds were used on Industrials. That was useful for road construction crews because they'd be doing a lot of back and forth. Now, you look at the shift patterns on these. Fifth is upper right. Sixth on here. Fifth on here is bottom right. Reverse 1 and 2 on the left. Yeah, the reverse 1 is on the top on here. The standard, it's on the bottom. So that's different. I know the gearing is different inside the tranny. It's not just the pinion size. This would be yellow color if it was not painted over green. And you can see it coming through here. It would be like this orangish color. Whole thing would be the same color, like this. And they also would have had heavier duty tires. A lot of them would have the more of a road tire instead of the grips like that. This is an egg tire. This one here has weights in the back, and it is of massive weight. Like this tractor right here would pull so much more than this thing. This thing, I wouldn't even put it on a plow because I don't think it would pull it. This one, I think would probably pull two bottoms. Other than that, there ain't much difference between the two. It's kind of like how the customer ordered it. Which one would I choose between these two if I was buying one new? I don't know. The yellow color would be annoying, but that one, just from using it, the gearing is great on it, because you know, if you want to go on the road, it's fast, but then it's got the lower gears that are good speed too. So I don't know. I might pick the industrial, but it'd be hard to say. Here's for reference. 77 panel. It was 12 and 7/8 on the bottom. Yeah, it's bigger. It's definitely bigger. It's way bigger. So I know the fronts are the same. The backs are bigger in the 77. And an 88 would have bigger curtains too, because I think it's bigger that way because it has a bigger tank. So it's like higher there. Dash is bigger, higher.